Tonight, a new volcano vent has blown open on La Palma. Molten lava racing towards villages, a drone overhead catching the moment a stream of lava crashes into a
Hey, welcome to BCB Live. Sir Rick here, Drive Safe Dave. Quit watching the TV, watch the camera. Just do me a favor, sir.
I did good yesterday.
Okay. Hey, well, good morning to you. Listen, we're going to just jump it right in here with probably the biggest news that we have right now, and it's bigger than the amount of days we've driven safe. It's bigger than getting out. No, it is. It's bigger than all. It's the new Drive Safe Dave doll that has made its appearance at all the stores nationwide. Listen, before it's too late,
first of all,
go get it. And
can I just say something?
There's a lot of these out there in the ocean right now. They're in the ships. All of them haven't made landfall
yet. Can I just say something? This is an action figure. This is not a doll. This is an action figure. So I just want everybody to know that there is a Drive Safe Dave action figure.
I don't know if it's an action figure. And you know what? Let's put it back on there. Let's look at this. We're missing some things here. Let's be honest. First of all, I like the hair. The hair represents it the wrong color. This is a more fit Drive Safe Dave doll.
That's what they see. That's what the public sees right there. And they're emphasizing some of the key points right there. Got jeans. Got a nice shirt with a sign on it. Got a good look. Got a good hair.
Hey, we need those jeans sagging. Can we get a rear view of that so we can see? Make sure that doll, that Drive Safe doll, is, you call it action figure. I'm going doll.
I'm going to go action figure. But you know what? It is kind of representative of the whole package, right? It is kind of, it demonstrates exactly.
I don't know. I'm going no on that, but I like it. I love the fact that, you know what, that it's out there and people are buying into the safety signs. They're buying into that you've got to slow down. You have to go to the speed limit. You got to watch out for the ducks. You got to watch out for the moose, and you got to watch out for Bigfoot.
Yeah, this sign is actually in state parks around the country, and I'll tell you what, it's pretty, I just thought it would be fun we've been talking a little bit about animals this week, and I thought it would be fun here with this one.
All right, let's talk about something else that's fun. Let's go into our days of accident-free Drive Safe.
Yeah, we're at 129, I believe. 128. I'm sorry, 128. I'm trying to get one more in there. I'm sorry. I was trying to squeeze.
You had a premonition. I like that.
I was trying to squeeze one more.
What about driving Get Out and Look days?
10, I believe. 13. Sorry.
You know what? You're like for when we call you on thing. You missed the phrase at page. You missed this, and it just points, I think, to we got to get ready for this right now, or you got to be the first one to ask the question. I didn't know what it was off the top, so I asked the question to make sure I don't get caught in that uncomfortable.
Man! And you know what? I read the email too this morning, and I just zoomed right over it.
Hey, big. So I'm not so interesting to me right here. We saw in California, and I do want to talk about this. Governor Gavin Newsom goes in there, signs a bill about this that signs a new law that these companies and we all believe this right here that Amazon's probably the one being targeted. They must disclose their new quotas or workplace productivity measures to the state.
Wow.
They must give those out. They must say, hey, these are our goals. These are our standards. And if the state, Drive Safe Dave, and here's probably to me the most interesting part, if the state finds that these productivity measures are too high, that the standards are too, they're unattainable, if the state believes that, well, here it is. The company has to review their, to change their numbers, right? To bring them down. And guess what? Probably hire more employees. Right. I don't get it. I'll tell you, I don't understand that part at all. First of all, that's their productivity. How's the state going to come in and say, well, that's just too high? You know what? It's. I got a problem with it too, because doesn't the state want you to hire more people, producer?
Well, I did a little bit of research on this before we came in. So under the law, the State Labor Commission is just giving out citations for companies that are putting in unrealistic standards here. So the common complaint with Amazon is that they have quotas to the point where you can't go to the bathroom. You're not allowed to go and do this. You don't have breaks. You don't have anything like that. And so they're trying to crack down a little bit more on the malpractice that they're seeing with Amazon than like, hey, you're trying to be too productive right now. It's more so punishing the overwork and less so the massive quotas that they're seeing.
And I'm going to go, says every employee that's been fired for going to the bathroom too often.
Okay.
Says every employee that's been fired, terminated for not having enough smoke breaks. Says every employee that's not doing their job raises their hand. Those are the ones, and keep reading that and go back and you look at that. It's the ones that are being termed for going to the bathroom. I don't think anybody's keeping people from going. You have numbers to meet, and they're unattainable. And I get it. For some, they're unattainable. Others, they're not. And for those that they're unattainable, I'm a root cause person. I said, well, you know what? If you spend more time talking to your neighbor, if you spend more time checking that phone, here we go. These guys here, they won't let me go to the bathroom. They won't let me do this. Meanwhile, nothing's getting done right
I'm
there.
emailing my congressman.
Yeah. So I just don't. I tell you, Drive Safe Dave, I don't like and it's not a California, it's anything. I don't know if that state has the ability to come in and tell me how to run my business.
Yeah, to me, the only time that you really should allow that is if there's an unsafe working environment, and I think that's the reason we have OSHA, right? That's the reason we have a federal agency that can actually walk in and step in and say, whoa, time out. This is unsafe for employees. Now, meeting goals that are unattainable, then I guess maybe you don't work there, right? I mean,
go somewhere else. I mean, there's options in this. It's not like you're stuck there. And if you're not making your goals, right, and they're paying you a very healthy wage, that's just you're not making your goal. Well, hey, guess what? If they're long as they're employing you still, you're making the same thing. You may not be hitting your goal.
Trust me, you can still work and people shake their head while you work and continue to work. I'm just saying, I'm pretty much aware of that feeling right there, right?
I just, again, just it catches my eye when I see this. Love to get some feedback from some of you as well, listeners that look at that. I just think, it's a hard thing.
Yeah,
I get all of that right there.
Yeah.
It's the fact that there's a state gonna say your rules are too high. Hey, hire more people. Hire more people.
Laissez-faire. That's the reason I like laissez-faire. Hands off, right, of business. I mean, if you want business to excel and get bigger and better, they have to be innovative, right? They have to figure out better ways to do it, not the state.
Yes, sir.
If you want the state to be innovative, there are other communist bloc countries.
Well, not to go on the communist thing, because I don't think this is a communist rule here, first of all. But also, let's backtrack before we start talking over each other here. So, some actual statistics here that we are seeing coming from Amazon employees. 75% of workers avoid using the bathroom at all in fear of being reported by their managers. We have 80% of workers who were former employees who would not apply for a job at Amazon again. There have been memos that come from Amazon executives that say after 3 years, you are to be terminated and you are not to be given a bump up in employment if you are working in the warehouse, because they believe that people are lazy inherently, and so you cannot work your way up from a warehouse worker to a manager of a warehouse because of that. I think that these are more so taking a look
at. We're gonna go age thing here. I'm gonna go this right here. Is that it's 80% of who? How many people did that interview?
Let me check the survey really quick.
How many people of the current employees, Drive Safe Dave, or producer?
I'm going to side with you on this.
How many of them really did that and avoid bathrooms? How many kids at school avoid bathrooms? Because they just don't want to go. They don't like to go to the bathroom. I don't think that anybody's going to avoid going to the bathroom if you got to go to the bathroom. You're going to hold it all day? That's probably going to make you less productive. Yeah. So, how many are doing that? And again, productivity is productivity. This is our goal right here. These are what we have, and I don't need the state coming in telling me how to run my business. No. I don't need it, nor does anybody need it. That's what we do. If something's unfair, hey, listen, go work somewhere else. I'm a big believer in that. There's over 10 million open jobs right now, and there's only 8.5 million of you unemployed. So there's plenty of jobs right now to go out there and get. Anyway, Drive Safe Dave, you talked about automation, right? We got to keep up with that. Automation, FedEx.
Yep.
FedEx bringing in the Aurora technology, and Aurora is a newcomer to this technology. They kind of leapfrogged over everybody. Them in the pack car coming in with FedEx, Drive Safe Dave, they're going to own Interstate 45 between Dallas and Houston.
That's what I hear.
Back and forth. And it starts pretty quick with manned drivers in it, right? Taking these autonomous vehicles, going over manned for the first year. But by year 2023, they expect to be human-free in those trucks going back and forth.
That's crazy. And I know that's a big lane for them. And I do know that they run a lot back and forth on 45. What a crazy input on that. I can't wait to see how that works and what happens there. You think they're ready? You think they genuinely are ready?
I mean, they're going to start it this year.
Wow.
It's going to happen. We'll see them this year running up and down 45. You're running between Dallas and Houston. If you see a driver back there just kind of going like this, hands free, hey, don't try to mimic him or her driving that truck, because it's that truck. If they're pulling that FedEx behind it, they're probably on the autonomous cycle going there, though, to make sure that it's that any things happen, they can take over.
Yeah, and you can identify some of those trucks pretty simply by all the gadgets.
It looks like a NASA vehicle going down the highway.
Yeah, they got all the different stuff on the sides, around the top, and really, really high. It's pretty interesting. A lot of the stuff is elevated across the top, so we can see almost everywhere in front and around it. Pretty neat stuff going on.
Yeah, hey, Thankful Thursday. We want to thank you for being, for doing what you do out there on the highway. We want to thank you for loving this industry. We want to thank you for focusing on safety and making our highways the safest highways. What you do out there, we're never going to underplay that, right? It's important. It's value to us. It warms my heart to know what you do out there, the sacrifices you make for all of us. Hey, we want to say thank you for that, Drive Safe Dave, and we want to also do this. It's Thankful Thursday. Hey, I want some participation in this. We're talking about automation, right? We're talking about productivity things. It's a lot of information stirring. And before we ask you that question, hey, you have ways to comment. Email us, comment online, raise your hand.
Let us know what's going on.
To do that. And while you're thinking about this on the autonomous side, okay, we're talking about Interstate 45 with the big truck. We got a video we're going to show you. This is a video on the Tesla cars, and these are cars, not trucks. Let's watch this video.
I'm positive that Tesla's going to be the first to hit level 5, and I'm just as positive that they're already at level 4.
And it's just trying to go straight into them. That is very unfortunate.
It's not correcting itself, so it was aiming for the opposite lane again.
Slowly, slowly.
Okay.
It was going in a gap that it couldn't fit in.
We're completely on the curb. Oh, God.
And for some reason, it starts controlling for this pedestrian fairly late.
Wow, it's about to run a red light. What are you doing? Look at this. What's it doing? To be honest, I'm not impressed. Elon overhypes it. That's straight up the truth.
Tesla doesn't want us sharing all of the clips of the videos.
Just the way it is. These guys are always understating so that they can make their competition feel better.
Drive Safe Dave, we see this right here. And again, we're going to ask you if you have any questions, comments. Hey, raise your hand, get involved with this. This is the Tesla. This is a car. Right? This is not a truck. This is not a truck carrying a 53-foot trailer behind it. When you watch these videos right here and you start thinking about what's just around the corner, right, in real life, construction zones, we're getting ready to go into spend tons of money on the infrastructure, which is a big portion of that is the highways, and we're seeing it already. Just construction costs or construction happening everywhere. That really throws these autonomous vehicles off. The change in the lanes, these signs that we see, the human control saying, no, go that way, go that way, go that way. We saw it react where that car, that Tesla hit somebody and the other one stopped, but the other one just ran over somebody completely. Drive safe. I'll just be telling you, I'm a little still, I'm not ready yet. I'm not all in. I just think the big truck is its own animal.
Yeah, it has to be, because it's 20 to 40 times heavier, and you got to be aware of the technology in that moment. It's a lot longer vehicle, it's a lot stronger vehicle, and it's a lot more. It's a train running. It's basically a train on the road, and you've got to make sure. And I watch these videos, and you know, the reporting is done by the industry, by the automobile, and they filter out some of their own stuff, but it kind of makes you worry on what they're filtering out, correct? I mean, that's who that's left to do it. The state is not looking at it. There's no organization running behind them making sure their safety measures are correct. I mean, basically, they are now under being investigated now today. I think there's been a report that they're going to be investigated. It worries me too that we don't see any of the testing being done, or we don't know of any of the testing, and it's our families on the road. I mean, we're not talking about, and it's everybody out there. I mean, that's a lot of people out there. How foolproof are these technologies?
Yeah, and it's I guess my biggest struggle is the fact that there's so many changes and challenges that happen on the road. I'm not just talking about construction, right? I'm talking about cars break down. Animals run out in front.
There's so much.
Cows walk out on the highway. We've seen that. How's it gonna react? I mean, how's it gonna? I know it's gonna see it, and it's gonna make some kind of decision. What decision is it? And I don't know that side, Drive Safe Dave, and maybe maybe somehow we can get somebody on that side to help us with the rationale, the decision making process, right? That goes into the truck, because that's key. Again, we've spoken about that, and I just mean that from the bottom of my heart. How does it know when given a bad decision, when given a impossible decision to save life, how does it know who it's going to kill? How does it make that decision, and who is going to live with that? It's a challenge it's real. Why? Well, because the vehicle to the right, in front of it, and to the left is not autonomous, so it can't understand what this truck's going to do. If we were all autonomous, I think it works perfect. Right? Because I'm going to go on the right, and when I go to the right, this car already knows you're going to go to the right, and it's going to go this way. It's going to slow down. Everything's talking. And that worries me. And obviously another big worry when you think about autonomous vehicle is the hacking. I mean, who's going to be the first one to hack into that? Who's going to be the one that says, you know what? I am the 19-year-old that can hack into a bank, that can hack into T-Mobile, or 21-year-old. Wasn't that a 21-year-old that hacked into T-Mobile? Who's going to be the first one to hack into that vehicle?
And it's not just the 19 or the 21-year-old in testing. I'm talking about foreign powers going in and disrupting, commerce, disrupting.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're talking about the ability to not only, you can't change the minds of everybody, but you sure could change the computer of everybody. Look, they can shut down huge pipelines. Imagine what they could do to our national commerce if they could shut down.
Yeah, and are we ready for that? I
Yeah.
mean, driving's one thing. And again, when we take these autonomous vehicles, the trucks that have moved this country, have saved this country, that has been the biggest movement of transportation in our country comes from a truck. Let's face it, right? A disruption in that is a true concern. I mean, it's real. And Dave, it's not just the accidents on the highway. It's your ride. It's somebody going there controlling that. Right? Controlling that, having the ability to stop all of the vehicles in a day. Imagine that, just all of trucks just stop.
Right.
What that would do for productivity, what that would do to our country, how that would just cripple us from doing anything.
Or even worse scenario, Sir Rick, it's not that they stop them, it's that they don't stop them. Think of the most horrific imaginable scenario. They just don't hit the brakes wherever they are.
So all the testing that's going on, I know for one thing, we've got to make sure we have that same testing, right, going on behind the scenes, not just up and down the road part.
Agreed.
What about the other side? How much work is being done? Is it foolproof right now? Because we haven't seen any industry foolproof right now.
None.
When it comes to the hacking.
Not even our own security agencies.
Thank you.
Not even our own not even our own computer security agencies are foolproof.
Whew, boy, we got a lot of stuff. crazy times ahead of us, and it's you know, technology again is a beautiful thing. I love technology. I love all of that, but behind the scenes, there's just legitimate concerns that many of us do have that are voicing on that. And it's not just, you know, we're going after a problem right now of a driver shortage. You know, yes, that's a great reason to have the autonomous vehicle, right? It's a great reason to perhaps drive safer, and I'm not doubting that part, right? It's got the ability to make a lot of great decisions. What about the other side? What are the repercussions of this as well? Things that we've got to really think about as an industry, think about as a country. Drive Safe Dave. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. This is BCB Live, and we're the safest station. Hey, welcome back to BCB Live. Drive Safe Dave. A couple questions that were asked on the typing part was this right here. Hey, any idea of the cost of the trucks? You know, what are the projected cost of these automated trucks that are going to take the place of people? I haven't seen a firm price yet. You know, have you seen anything on the pricing?
No, I think I saw something, but it was an estimated guess, and I don't think there was anything firm. But what was it, like 220 or something like that?
Yeah, I don't think that was the right thing. I remember when we talked about 250, 220, 250, but I think that was like the cost of something. I don't think that's the sales price of
Oh, okay, I got you.
You know, obviously we haven't seen it yet. You know, when I look, here's my thing. When you see pricing right now for a dry van, a 53-foot trailer with not a lot of technology in it.
That's
going for $45,000 today.
Yeah.
It leads me to believe that $250, if that was the cost, it's not the cost any longer, my friend. You know, that cost will probably be, I could see that at $750,000.
Mm.
I mean, you think about it, it's the technology involved in it. You know, it's toting no employee the ability to run 20 hours, 20, whatever that is a day. You know, without a driver in it. Why would they sell for $250? It doesn't make sense. That price will be, it's going to have to be close to $750,000. Matter of fact,
wow.
I'll go right now and
What's your
say
bid? What's your bid?
$785 would be the cost.
Oh,
$785,000 is the cost. So, producer, I don't know if we have any prices. I don't know if anybody's really running it yet. You can't run it legally. I mean, wonder what that cost will be. $785, I could see that being a true cost. Pay for itself in 3 years. I mean, it's kind of what we do in this industry, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll pay for itself. So we'll see what that cost is going to be. At Drive Safe Day, we want to talk a little bit chain laws, right? We're getting into the reason for the season, and that is to get charged a little bit more money in Oregon. They've now neared that price for the chain law to $880, almost $900 fine. You know, and valid reason too. They put it that the delays, that, you know, all the, you know, bringing in the people to tow them out, it creates about $8 million a year of unproductive dollars, I guess, lost revenue.
Lost revenue on the roads that are blocked by trucks being stuck by not following the rules in a snow zone in Oregon, because in Oregon they call them a snow zone. And whenever you're in a snow zone, you are required to either have chains and you are required to either put them on. It depends on what the sign says or what the declaration is at that moment.
Yeah, you bring up what the sign says, and I found it I found it interesting here because if you get that ticket, you're probably not going to win. And I say that because here it goes. It says all trucks must carry change. Here it goes in quotations. Whenever road conditions might require their use during your trip and signs are posted. Might.
Yeah,
it doesn't sound like you're going to win that. You know what? There was a good chance that you needed the change.
It was the season.
Sounds like you're losing some money on that, sir. But $8 million of productivity loss and revenue bringing out people. And I get that too, Drive Safe Dave. Listen, when you're going into these states that require change, we do Colorado, for example, during that season, during that period that you need change, whether you're going to run or not, listen, you've got to carry them on. And if you're not going to carry them, you can't run through that area.
No, there's a restricted area, and it's not just in Colorado, it's just a small section of 70 that you're required to carry them during the season. That's 133 to 254. That area is required that you must carry chains or their alternative, like snow tire. I mean,
so the difference, and let's just talk about that. When you're going up 287, you're not required to until them signs are flashing, right? You must have chains.
Yeah, if the signs are flashing in a region and that is hitting that says, hey, you need to chain up or you need to have chains, that's to proceed through that area. If you don't have chains, you don't proceed through the area. Don't go. And we don't ever, I don't ever recommend you you don't use change to enter into a bad area. You typically use change to get out of a bad area. I just always have used that as a fundamental rule. It makes it a whole lot easier for what you're doing. You just don't go into danger, but you can get out of it, right? You want to make sure that you have them if you're in that region, but just up to Colorado, let's say to Denver from Dallas, you're not required by law to carry chains.
But if that sign's blinking,
pull over.
Pull over. And you know what? Probably a good time to not keep driving. It's telling you up ahead, hey, listen, probably something that requires change. I'm going to say you have them or you don't have them. It's a great time to get off and get that 10-hour break in.
Absolutely. The more durable of the products over time is the change, but you can use snow socks, which are a lot lighter weight and a lot easier to carry, but they don't last as long and they're not as good to be using over and over and over. But they will get you through that moment, and they can get you out of trouble if you're up in the mountains and let's say all of a sudden you get hit by a storm.
Gotcha. So maybe we can get as we get into this season, Drive Safe Dave, maybe we can get let's get somebody on here that does that chaining for a living. That's what they do. Let's talk a little bit, see how it is. You know what? When you see it done, maybe there's a good chance that you're never going to want to run them anyway. A little bit of work putting chains on.
Yes, it's you get kind of used to it once you've done it a while. You learn a little bit of the tricks of the trade of taking that small block of wood so you can raise the wheel up to roll your tire on. I mean, you learn a few tricks out there when you learn to throw iron.
So I'll tell you the thing about and again, my 6 trips around the track. Not once did I ever incur bad weather. Like that. So I didn't have any opportunity to chain up or not, but. It just sounds to me, Drive Safe Dave, when you're out there, the chain law's in effect, or the chain sign comes that says you must have chains, right? Or you must put them on, or to proceed. It's just not going to be warm out there either, right? I mean, it just sounds and feels like it's just going to be nasty. And I'm thinking, heck no, I'm pulling off the road.
Let me just tell you, and I'll tell you from personal experience, as a fat guy getting out of the truck and putting on chains.
Hey, you didn't look fat on that doll though. The action figure Drive Safe Dave, my friend.
That's kind of a good look. But I'll tell you that the chain. You imagine getting out at a high altitude in the mountains at Donner Pass or up there at a high altitude. You can't breathe anyway. So imagine out there working in the snow, in the cold, and the air's thinner, so you run out of breath quicker. So you take more breaks, and your hands are freezing, and you're wearing gloves. Been there, done that. Don't recommend it for anybody. Thank you very much.
So aren't there people out there like lumpers just willing to put them on it for you?
They have a lot of money. They do have guys that will do that. And I'll tell you what, if you get caught in Colorado and without chains, I do know their fine went up to, I think, $1,500 just for not having them. And if you have to be towed out, or if they have to call somebody out for you, I think it's $5,000. And that's not the the charge for the tow, that's just your fine.
It's not all encompassing.
That's
right?
no. They don't.
$1,500. Not only will we come get
$5
you,
grand, just
we'll
come
tow
get
you.
it. Just tow me over the mountain. No, that's not at all. That's the actual fine.
Got it. Hey, listen, we'll be back to you in about a minute with some weather and traffic with, I think we're going with producer, going to make his weather debut on BCB Live, the safest station in that nation.
Hey, welcome back to BCB Live. This is the producer here, hanging out with you guys to give you a little bit of a traffic update because, well, Buckle Up Bob seems to be out today. So with that, let's go ahead and get into a little bit of traffic. So what we're seeing here is a lot of holdup in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If you look on the east side of Dallas, we are seeing a lot of buildup on 80 as well as a little bit on 30 towards the downtown area. Now, a lot of times you are going to see that in the Dallas part, so you don't really want to stick around there. Try and make your way around on the outer rim of 20 or take that toll road if you have the opportunity. Moving into the Kansas City area, we see a lot of clear roads, which is quite unlike what we saw yesterday afternoon when we took a look at it then. 70 is looking wide open on both the east and west sides, as well as 635 or 435 if you're taking those loops around. Coming into the Chicago area, we're seeing quite a bit of backup in the downtown area, with 90-94 being the main source of traffic. If you are headed through the area, you do want to take 94 all the way around, connect into 55, and try and make your way through that part of Chicago. Coming into Atlanta, once again, we say it every time we come to Atlanta, but Georgia law does not allow you to go into that middle part of Atlanta without dropping a load. As you can see, the west and eastern parts of 20 are a little bit backed up right now, with the lower loop and northern loop being a little bit more open than that middle part. The northern side on 285 is going to be a bit more backed up, so try and stay on that southern rim as you make your way through Atlanta. Coming through in Philadelphia, we're seeing more open roads than we typically see, with 295 being relatively green throughout. 76 is quite backed up if you are going into that downtown Philly area, so be aware of that as you make your way into the Jersey area as well. Now into Nashville, we are seeing a bit of backup on the eastern side by 24 and 40, but once you cross over and get into the far eastern side of 40, you are going to see some open roads. 24 and 440 are looking relatively open though, so you should be good to go with smooth sailing through Nashville. And now let's get into a little bit of weather. Now there's not a whole lot going on today with our winds being relatively smooth. As we come into the afternoon here, we are going to really only see about some 41-mile-per-hour winds up in New York, but the rest of the country is going to look pretty clear. Now, if you guys are seeing anything else out there, be sure to raise your hand, let us know what's going on so that we can get that information out to everybody else as well. As we move into Friday and Friday afternoon, a whole lot of nothing as well as there. Up in Illinois, we are seeing some 36-mile-per-hour gusts. You might want to slow down, especially if you're carrying an empty trailer. It is going to be gusting a little bit up there towards Chicago, but towards the end of Friday and into Saturday, we are going to see that move out and dissipate for the rest of the weekend. Now, as for our rain and thunder, we are looking mostly at this eastern front that we've been seeing over the past couple days. Huge portions of Pennsylvania as well as the Virginias are getting hit right now with a lot of rain and storming. We did hear from Alan Arnold yesterday as he did make his way through the Jersey area and said that there was quite a bit of rain. So be careful whenever you're moving, especially with those four-wheelers who are prone to hydroplaning. As we move into the nighttime, though, we are going to see a lot of it move out into New York and into the ocean, with Friday morning clearing up pretty much the rest of the country. By the time the weekend comes around, we are going to see no rain and some clear skies for the most of the country, with the exception of a little bit there in New Mexico. Now, as for temperatures, we are slowly making our way into the fall weather here. Currently in Texas, we're sitting at a smooth 67, The rest of the country looking at a little bit of a low 60 and mid 50s, with the exception of the West Coast getting some heat there, and of course the Eastern Coast getting a little bit of heat as well. As we move into the afternoon, we are going to see those temperatures bump up, with the 90s being prevalent in the west and mid 70s and low 60s prevalent in the rest of the country. Coming into Friday morning as well as Friday afternoon, we are going to see that cold front stick around for just a little while longer before making its way out and into the weekend, where we will see some warmer temperatures. So enjoy the cold while you got it, because it is going to warm right back up again. And with that, guys, we can go into a little bit of a safety topic. Give me just a short break, and we'll be right back with you here on the safest station in the nation.
Hey, welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Hey, great job there by the producer.
Very good.
Let me tell you something. That is the action figure right there. We just got to change sweaters, and that is our producer.
Was he wearing a sweater?
Yes, the action figure was. Let me tell you something. You take all those things off, that's the producer. The nice looking hair, chiseled cheek, all of that. He looked freaking good.
If you want to steal the Drive Safe Dave action figure, if you want to make it your own, you can. I'm going to say you can actually make it look a little bit like you if you'd like.
I thought it was kind of neat. Great job, though, producer, on
Absolutely.
that. We do want to clarify one thing, is that when you're going through the Atlanta area, you got to be dropping off some freight, right?
Exactly.
We're not dropping the load off there. I would be curious if that works, though, Drive Safe Dave. That would at least get a laugh out of the DOT officer. Dude.
Absolutely.
No, officer. I'm dropping off a load.
My paperwork says this. That loop. It's serious business. It's a fine if you're caught with inside the loop and you're going in there, or you're going through there without your bills indicating you need to. So it's not a through truck route. It is a destination truck route.
All right, we're stepping in for Buckle Up Bob, and I think we're talking about a little preventability today. Is that right? Yes, sir. Drive safe.
Okay, so what we've done is and when we talk about safety, we talk a little bit more about preventability instead of just talking about who's at fault. And a lot of the times it gets confusing because, hey, I had the right of way. Hey, he needs to yield to me. He needs to back off to me. He needs to slow down to me. And I'll tell you, we've got to get that belief in our heart and in our actions, is that about preventability and about who's at fault. It really doesn't matter. As long as we can prevent the accident, we have a great opportunity to save lives.
Yes, and it's something we do want to focus on, that preventability. When we think about that's looking up ahead, right?
Absolutely.
That's looking for a reason to slow down, to keep your space there. That's what it's about. And we want to make sure we're doing that on the road. We know that if you're on this station right now and you're part of that BCB Live, you're part of that safest station in the nation crew. If you're one of them, we know you're doing that. We also know this, Drive Safe, is that sometimes you're going to make a mistake.
Yes.
Sometimes you're going to get distracted. I get that. It's impossible to be 100%, all the time. We just have to hopefully recognize when we're not 100% and get back there.
Quicker. Respond
quickly. Realize that you're texting.
Daydreaming.
Right? And put it down.
Yeah.
Yes, great point. Daydreaming. You're arguing. Put the phone down.
Right.
Pull over.
Yes.
You're tired. You're worn out. You're yawning. Your hands are moving. All those signs that point to you're going to get distracted, or you're fatigued, or you're not going to be able to make that safe decision. We want you to have the action, right? The ability to recognize when you are in that zone, that zone, that danger zone, and get off the road.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you one of the great indicators. If you're ever telling yourself that you're in a hurry, you're going to make some bad decisions, because that allows you to second guess or make different decisions that you would make at other times, right? I mean, even if you're in a hurry in the hallway, in the office, and you tell yourself you're in a hurry, you feel that you don't have to say good morning to the person next to you because, yeah, I'm in a hurry. I don't have to, I'm in a hurry, or I don't have to stop and do this, or I can make shortcuts or what have you. But I'll tell you, being in a hurry or being in a rush, it kind of tends to lead to an accident.
Yeah, being in a hurry, you know, without a doubt, I'm going to go with you on that, is that when you're rushed, you do, that happens, right? You don't have time. You forget to get out to your pre-trip.
Right.
You forget to get out and look. You're in a rush. You've got to get there fast. You're rushed, and that's just how you feel. And what we want you to do is recognize, I said, stop. I'm already late. I'm gonna be late,
right.
But I'm not gonna wreck and be late. I'm not gonna to take life and be late. I'm just gonna be late, and it is what it is, my friend. It is what it is. Hey, Drive Safe Dave, I know you and producer got some videos ready for us, ready to start looking at it when you are, my friend.
Okay. Here was sent in, and notice the heavy rain, and watch the vehicle in front of you changing lanes, and watch what transpires. Hydroplanes and spins out of control on the freeway directly in front of our truck, and the driver takes an evasive action moving into the lane where the driver was moving from.
Show it again.
Yeah, see it, hear it again. Great video. Heavy rain.
So, all right, so here we go, Drive Safe Dave. The importance that we talk about every day is it's not you, right? Sometimes you, the big truck, we're not always talking about you. You may have it all under control. We get that, but it's the other folks on the road that make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you, I watched this video a couple of times, and as I look at it, the driver moves from the right lane and is moving, I believe, just into the center lane to move out for these cars are coming. But because starts to hydroplane, can't straighten the vehicle, and then realizes and turns the wheel and overcorrects as it moves into the third lane and spins out of control. I believe that driver was just moving out of the way to let these people in, but this is what transpires going too fast in these conditions.
All right, I'm going to tell you something on the same video right here. If we get into an accident here, and there's no fault of ours, Drive Safe Dave.
Right.
However, the way it's set up in court, the way the jury's, and what they're going to do is they're going to go back to you, the truck driver that hit the car in front of you that did all the things wrong. When you look at that, they're going to go back and they're going to re-look at your speed. Were you going too fast for the condition? And if you hit that vehicle in front of you, you probably were.
Yeah.
I mean, it may not be your fault at all,
yeah.
but that's what preventability, right? We're talking about preventability.
Absolutely.
This is preventability right here. You know, slowing down enough that just in case that car does what it just did and stays in your lane, that you can stop.
Yeah.
Preventability.
And you know, a couple of things going on here, and remember that the speed limit is no longer in effect when you are in these conditions, because those are only for when it is at optimal conditions. So if the speed limit, let's just say it's 65 and it's raining like this, you better not be doing 65. You know, you need to slow down and understand the dangers that's going around you. And these four-wheelers are affected greater in these conditions and can create chaos, havoc, and danger for all. You know, the driver was actually trying to be better about letting people in and just lost control in the heavy rain. And I believe this driver did a great job in also not only slowing down, but evading the danger.
Oh, phenomenal job. Next one.
You're in a construction zone, right? You're against the Jersey wall, and you're in a high, you know, you got 3 lanes of traffic, and you're coming up, and you're driving along, and you're proceeding to get close to the vehicle in front of you, and you do a quick lane change. I think, you know, I'm not sure where the other vehicle was in this time, but is there enough time? This is a great discussion video. This is truly a great discussion video, because I don't think the driver actually did anything wrong, but except close in a little bit too close on the vehicle in front of them.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that. We really have to look at when we're closing in on somebody, because the closer we get, the less visibility we have of
Absolutely.
What's in front of that car,
There's
of
no
that
outs.
truck in front. No outs at all.
There's
yeah,
no outs.
You're right. And we see it oftentimes. That out is to the right. Well, the right's taken out now.
Absolutely. And there's a vehicle, there's a truck on your left. So that out is gone, right, until you change lanes. And the only area that you have safely is the area in front of you, and you close the gap too fast. And I believe that that's a great video just to watch to see how you can see it on the outside. Now you're in the hammer lane and you're thinking to yourself, why is the driver hanging out in the hammer lane? This is an excellent video. The driver was wary enough way in the back to see this disabled truck and move over. Look where the driver is on that truck, walking down the side, and he's moved over and allowed the disabled vehicle all the room in the world to be safe.
Phenomenal. Love that.
Heavy traffic, good spacing, taken away from you, create more. I can't even say that, you know. And then look, there's no one. Everybody has moved over. We've allowed a person to move over, and the emergency vehicles at the top. We're doing everything we can to create this a safe environment for the first responders on scene.
Yeah, saving life, doing the right thing, letting people in, creating space. You said everything exactly perfect. Big kudos goes out to this driver here for obeying the law. Being a king of that road or queen of that road, allowing others to come in and keeping this, keeping the lives of the paramedics, of the emergency vehicle, whatever that is, keeping them safe.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal job. That's a badge of honor award winner there.
Nighttime, driving downtown, very close.
Why? We're doing one-word sentences here, two-word sentences. Why? I'll just go in. Why? What's the purpose? Why do this? Why so close?
Yep.
The person stops,
you
turns.
That is not a passing lane, by the way. That is a turn lane. That is not a passing lane, and there is a no passing line in that lane. So you're too close following, right? The driver's obviously trying to find their spot to turn. Even though they don't signal, this is not.
I'm not even sure that vehicle on the right was going to turn. I think that grandma or grandpa driving that car, right?
Right.
They're 85 years old and probably shouldn't be driving right now. Maybe they can't see at night, but they're on the road, and here we are putting that added pressure on grandma and grandpa. We don't know who's in that car.
Yeah.
All we know is that we believe our time is more valuable than their time.
That's what we're going to get to in the next 3 videos. They're all designed to understand, hey, don't be in a hurry. Nothing is more important than the safety of others, and we're going to continue that. Let's see the next video. Here we are behind a farm equipment.
Okay.
And we pass in a no passing zone. And we pass in a no passing zone. We don't wait until there is a free zone to pass. Right here, those double white lines, the lines on your side, this is a no passing zone, and plus you're passing in an intersection. So I get it. It's difficult, but this farm equipment has every right to be on the road. You just have to be patient and understand what's going on and what you can and can't do.
All right, next one.
Another one. See how it's there? You are allowed to pass, but as you enter into this small town, you're going to be taking away your ability to pass. In fact, probably a do not pass sign and a blind curve up ahead, and you're passing on a no passing zone into a blind curve into a small town. No one's in a big hurry, right? We're not in a hurry. We understand this farm equipment. This guy's out in front of you. He has every right to be there. You've got to give him the road, and you have to be patient in order to pass.
One more?
No, that's it.
That's it, yeah. And so you're right. And we looked at those last 3 videos, and it's about patience. It's about on that first one. I'm telling you, that first one isn't a good one. And I'll tell you what bothers me on that first one, because we all do it in our own personal cars. We get frustrated at the car. Why is that car in the left lane? Are you kidding me? And then you go to pass them, and it's a teenager,
right?
That's just scared to death.
Right.
They don't know what to do. They're in, and they don't know how to get out of that lane.
Yeah.
And what we should have done on that was to slow down,
give them space.
give them space, and let them move out. Right. We see that with the same thing with the older folks, and you feel horrible. And I know we all know that.
Right.
When you pass it, God, I'm a jerk. I'm a jerk for what I was thinking.
Right.
And then you see the farm equipment, and I got to get around them. And yes, I get it. But what we got to do is obey the law.
Absolutely.
What we got to do is make sure that when we make decisions like that, first of all, you can't break the law.
Correct.
Period. And then when given the opportunity to pass that vehicle, we got to make sure that it's in a safe location to pass it. And when there's a law that says in the salt line says you can't pass, that means they already know that up ahead there's a curve, and that's why we put it there. They don't just randomly put the single and double lanes, right? They don't just randomly put them in there, do they?
No,
is there any thought behind it?
There's intentionality. Engineers actually go out there and design these roads and these highways with some intentionality on how it that no one needs to pass in this location because it prevents a difficult problem or can be unsafe. Yeah, so there's some great videos there. Do we have anybody calling in on any of those?
We did have a question, I think, from Brian Winsauer. Did we talk about that? He asked about the socks.
Oh, yeah. What was the question again? Do you remember?
Yes. So Brian was just wondering if single-use socks were an answer to maybe some of the bad weather we'll see up in Oregon and places like that, especially with the new chain law coming into effect.
You know, I'm a big proponent of the single-use socks for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're a whole lot easier to install. They don't take a lot of training, and they only weigh 5 pounds when the chains themselves can weigh up over 100 pounds in the tractor, be cumbersome and difficult to put on. And also it's there to help you get through if you do get stuck, right? You do have a way to increase your traction. They are a viable resource to do that. I am a big proponent in the socks to carry, especially in these areas that restrict that you must carry chain. So you can carry the one-time use socks in those moments.
Yeah, when I think of socks, I just immediately go to that's what it is. And you're looking at me a little weird, but how do you say that's what it is in Spanish?
I don't know.
Producer? Spell socks for me.
SOCKS.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Oh,
and
SOCKS.
you turn, and you too can learn a little Spanish here on BCB Live. Not only are we the safest station in the nation, but we're coming to you with different ways
to look
speak,
at it.
Yeah, to speak different languages.
Oh,
you
nice.
know, SOCKS. Hombre.
SOCKS socks. But I'll tell you, great question, Brian. And I do know that we have used socks in many, many ways. So that's a great alternative out there on the road.
What kind of socks Bigfoot would wear?
Bigfoot wears
to be a
fur
big
socks.
sock. You think it's a one-time usage sock, producer? Oh, I thought producer had something on that. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that Justin Hayes is wondering where you can get single-use socks.
Single-use socks are usually typically available at most of the larger truck facilities, especially in the mountainous regions or areas that require chains. You can usually get them at the Petro in the shop, or you can get them at the Loves, or you can get them at the TA in the store. You can look around for them or ask. I would always, if you need them, make sure that whoever it is, you talk to your maintenance department, and then you go with your dispatch team and your maintenance team to make sure that you're running in a region that requires them.
All right, we appreciate that. Hey, great time, great show. We have one more question. Who do we have?
Yeah, David Mason, what do you got for us today, sir?
Mr. Mason, top of the morning to you, sir.
Good morning. I just wanted to say, add to what Dave was saying earlier about letting yourself get in a hurry. You know, notice on a couple of those videos, like passing the farm equipment, you just need to have some patience. You know, there's patience out on the roadway. Making sure a safe day. Y'all have a good day.
I appreciate that.
Didn't I slip in there? Did you notice that?
I did. I caught that. That was awesome. It does. You know, and
no
it's
winner
easier
today, but I like your move. I like the move.
It's easier said than done, right? Because you know, when you're in that rush, you're just not patient. I mean,
especially if you've been around.
It's the last thing you want to hear. You know, it's tough, and that's what we want you to do. Somehow,
and you've been
behind
him. And you've been behind him for 10 minutes.
And it feels like an hour.
Yes,
and it feels like an hour.
And
the whole time you're saying, pull off the road.
Yes.
Get off the road. It's like a bicyclist on the road. Yeah. And you're like, come on, seriously?
I'm a big truck. I need some help up here. You know, a lot of the times that if you back there a while and the farmer, if he realizes that you're back there a while and you're giving him the space and not crowding, they will get it. And they've been doing this a long time too, and they'll typically find a place in order to pull over and stop and allow you to pass.
All right. Hey, BCB Live, the safest station nation. Hey, we're thankful that you're here. We're thankful that you're dedicated to the same thing that we have, and that's that passion to keep our roads safe. It's our passion to get our family, your family, and everyone's family home safe. That's what we do here, and it requires all of us working together for that one cause, and that's safety. Being safe and placing life, the value of life, over everything. We're going to close this with a prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we're so thankful to have you part of this show. We're so thankful to have you as part of our lives. I ask a special prayer for all of our drivers to give them that ability to recognize that moment when they need to be alert. Lord, we ask you to bail us out of those situations when we need your help. We call it luck. I call it your hand out there helping us. Watch over our drivers, Lord, that are going through some illnesses. We've lost some folks across this country, Lord, into the COVID, to death. And we know the pain that it causes trucking companies, the families inside, to the drivers, and to their families. And Lord, we ask you to wrap your arms around that families and give them that peace. Boy, it's hard for us to understand why and how. And Lord, we ask you just to give us that courage to accept the answer, to give us that courage also, Lord, to be the people we're called to be, and to be the stewards of the highway that we need to be. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for watching out for these drivers. Continue to bless these folks out here. Man, they are our heroes. They do so many things. Give them that ability to stay safe and get back home. It's in your son's name we pray. Amen. Everybody, this is BCB Live, safest station in the nation. We'll see you this afternoon.